Hi, we're the only people who didn't take tonight off. I'm Greg Gutfeld with Kimberly Guilfoyle, Richard Fowler, Jesse Waters, and Lisa Booth, the Five. All right, Sunday, President Trump retweeted a video of him wrestling Vince McMahon, Vince's head being replaced by the CNN logo. Bet you haven't seen it yet. It was silly, harmless nonsense, yet people lost their minds. Sorry, did I say people? I meant humorless libs who ignore real incitement but take issue with this.
Oh my God, what's gonna happen?
Oh, I'm getting the vapors. CNN actually issued a statement about this video saying it incites violence, as if it were a Shakespearean adaptation where the president's being murdered. Fareed Zakaria of CNN called that a masterpiece. Even sadder, CNN's hairless hall monitor, Brian Stelter, asks if Trump violated Twitter's hateful conduct policy in order to get him thrown off. The turgid tattletale said this.
Even if some people think it was just funny, it is being taken very seriously. We're going to keep asking Twitter that question, whether they believe it violates their terms of service. If you read the terms of service, you might think it does.
He's like the student who reminds the teacher that she forgot to assign homework, or the dorm RA who calls security because you're having too much fun and he wasn't invited. Lighten up, Francis. But the worst part in this is how CNN got taken in again. Don't they know that pro wrestling is fake? It's not a real fight. Trump and Vince were play fighting. What is it with CNN? Can't they tell real from unreal? The fight's as phony as the Russian collusion story. They fell for that one. And so they try to get Trump banned from a tool of free expression, one that enhances his transparency. I guess CNN can't stand the competition. Meanwhile, you know what I did when I first saw the tweet? I laughed. I showed it to my brother-in-law, who laughed. He showed it to his wife. She laughed. Then we had breakfast, because that's what normal people do. While the media pretends it's the end of the world knows better.
So true.
I love, Kimberly, that CNN, once again, doesn't realize that this is fake, that this really didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. News flash. So here's the best part is CNN gets played. Again, they're like playing right into the president's hands. He can take a joke. He put this out there. It's a meme. It's not real. But, you know, FNN was like, whoa, whoa, inciting violence, alert, 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 right? And a total freak out issued. And then they said, oh, well, this is inciting violence. But they don't do anything when they see the Kathy, Griffin video. They had to be pressed to be able to, fire her, remove her from the job, or their various hosts and anchors who have said things on the other inappropriate, or the fake news stories that they have to retract and fire 3 reporters. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, they're in a downward spiral. Like Tidy Bull Man can't do it quicker than they
are 9-inch nails. Yeah. You know what? They issued a statement on this, Lisa. Did they ever release a statement when Reza Aslan ate a human being on his show on CNN? He actually met with cannibals. I think I would have been more upset over that.
Well, you think that CNN would be very aware of fake news because this is what they've been operating in over the past few months. I mean, look, we've seen so much attention, as you pointed out, to this fictitious Russian narrative that is just, there's no evidence of it, but yet they've continued to run it. They've had to fire 3 different people. They've had top contributors basically say that it's a nothing burger. But look, the problem with the media is they continue to overreact and overreach. And now it's gotten to the point that so many Americans just don't trust them anymore. There was that Harvard-Harris poll out not too long ago where 65% of voters believe that there's a significant amount of fake news in the mainstream media now. And so President Trump is basically just fishing, throwing it out there, bait, hook, line, and sinker, and bringing them in, getting them to overreact, getting them to fake print news articles in an effort to try to diminish the president and hurt him. And it's only hurting themselves.
Jesse, is the real comedy in the overreaction? Like, it would have been, if nobody did anything, it would have just been another day. But it's the overreaction. It's the shrillness. It's so nice to see the left be the humorless ones. I mean, it's a complete role reversal.
Yeah, they can't take a joke because this time they're the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
They're used to being in on the joke when President Obama was around, and they're just not used to getting made fun of, and they can't understand the rest of the country's laughing at them. Trump has this innate gift. He makes his enemies seem deranged.
Yeah.
He made Rosie O'Donnell turn into a laughingstock. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were like sweating liars at the end of that campaign, and now Hillary is wandering around in the woods.
He breaks people, remember?
He does. And now Trump has made CNN look faker than professional wrestling. What CNN does is they overreact and they look like fools because it reminds me of the older brother. You know when the older brother comes around, I'll turn this way, it's more appropriate. So Trump's the older
And you
brother.
are older.
And he cocks back like this to the younger brother and goes like that. And then the younger brother freaks out, whines, cries, hits his head on the couch, and then cries to mommy, my older brother hit me. Meanwhile, the older brother didn't even do anything, and he looks like a fool. And that's what's happening with CNN right now. And then, so, you know, CNN has spent years attacking Wall Street traders, CIA interrogators, coal miners, everybody they can get their hands on. And the minute someone criticizes a journalist, it's like World War III is declared. And they're total hypocrites, too, because, you know, you can say whatever you want about Trump. You can behead him. You can assassinate him. But that's an artist expressing himself.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, so, but then Trump does it, and all of a sudden, everyone's clutching their pearls.
It's so
All right, Richard.
pretentious.
I know you got a lot to defend here, but I'm going to ask you a softball question. The big criticism here is that this is not presidential. This kind of behavior. Do you think it's not presidential that he does this?
So here's the thing. I thought this tweet was a joke. I laughed, just like the Covfefe tweet.
Yes.
It was funny, but let's make this very clear. He's not Whoopi Goldberg, or he's not Dave Chappelle, or he's not Adam Sandler. He's the president of the United States. And to some extent, maybe I'm the only one at this table that has an ounce of common sense that says the president tweeting stuff out like this is just a tad bit problematic.
Well, I think Trump's
Just a
funnier than
little
Whoopi
bit
Goldberg, actually.
problematic.
But here, can I let me respond to
little
that?
bit.
Is it possible that he is operating under a new set of rules and the media has yet to understand it while they're at the trough of the tweets? They still condemn him.
No, I get that. But here's the thing. I think every president before him, even Republicans who they make me want to vomit, right? Like even some Republicans,
Rude.
Republican presidential candidates who make me want to vomit. But here's one thing that all of them got, all 44 prior to 45, is there is me as the man and there is the office of presidency of the United States. Donald Trump
Even
is
Bill Clinton?
I would even argue that Bill Clinton did, because here's what Donald Trump
You
is
had to
trying to
smoke a
conflate.
cigar.
Oh, come on.
No,
That
I'm
was
making a
low
point.
blow.
I am making a point.
That was a low
You're
blow.
making, well, it was definitely.
But
Don't talk about
No, but you were making a
Every day.
generalization, and I have to call you on it.
No, well, here's the thing. And he was impeached for that, as I remember
Yes,
correctly.
yes.
So, but my point is that minus Bill Clinton, if you want to have that, and you could minus Richard Nixon, if you want to have that too. But every person got it. It is my job to be the president of the United States, and this office and this position and that resolute desk comes before my Twitter handle and people attacking me.
Didn't Harry Truman go after a critic and threaten to beat up a critic
President Obama
who was
said,
critical of his
you know,
daughter?
well,
But President Obama said it best. He
Hold on
says
one
they
second.
attack me all the time, and I will protect their right to attack me.
Greg makes
not
a
punch
great
them
point
back.
often, and he says, you know what wasn't presidential? When President Obama bowed to the Saudi king?
Oh, here
or
we
what
go.
else was unpresidential? When President Obama went golfing after America
Clearly,
was
the Trump-
beheaded.
the Tr-
and
clearly the
fist
Trump White
bumped.
House sent
That
you
wasn't
talking
very
against today.
presidential.
Also,
James Foley.
Well, honestly, I mean, look at his actions. He's tweeting something, and you're looking at him under a prism that held all these
the
other
prism
conventional
that is the presidency of the United
presidential
States of
candidates
America.
and people
I mean,
holding
it's
them
a
all
wrestling-
the same way.
it's a
He broke the mold,
wrestling
dude. He
video.
broke
My
the mold, and you're
God.
holding him
here's
to the
the thing.
same
No,
standards as you held all these other guys.
You know what we're talking? Crosstalk, stop. Take a break. Everybody breathe. Kimberly,
Simon says.
point. You were going to make a point.
Amazing points I have to make here. I mean, they're so amazing, I can't even barely speak them. How about this? How about the crybabies, the little snowflakes that want Twitter to suspend President Trump
Silencing him.
account? They want to
Silencing.
silence the president, and they complain that he doesn't talk to the press enough. You haven't, but then he's talking directly to everyone and making it equal opportunity here. But now they want the Twitter. Oh, no, that's got to be suspended. Oh, also, also for Christmas, we'd like the 25th Amendment, and we want, to go ahead and impeach the president because he tweets too much, because he's too transparent, because he tells you what's on his mind, because you don't have to sit there and figure it out like an international mystery. He'll tell you to your face.
Here's my point. Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, I was going to say, I also think Americans get the hypocrisy here, right? They get the joke in the sense you've got CNN, who has long criticized the president and his supporters. He's inciting violence. Remember throughout the campaign, the general election, as President Trump is inciting violence. But we've continued to see a litany of violence committed by the left that it's been ignored by outlets like CNN. I remember back looking at CNN covering what they call peaceful protests, and you have riots with police cars literally being set on fire and police officers basically lives being put at risk. So I think Americans are in on the hypocrisy. Yeah. They get the joke. And this is how CNN and these outlets have discredited themselves by allowing themselves to be baited in to the president's
I think you're conflating two different things. And I think if you listen to Republicans like Senator Ben Sasse and Senator Lisa Murkowski and Senator Rob Portman, and I can go on the litany of members of Congress and senators who have said this is problematic. And here's what makes this very interesting, is that these are the senators that Donald Trump needs to get his agenda through, which is now stalled and has been stalled for the past 2 months.
They're also typical politicians. The country's been listening to typical politicians like that for years, and now we're $20 trillion in debt, and you can't win a war anymore.
Murkowski should just probably switch parties.
Exactly.
I think those senators and congressmen are playing a role. They realize we're just going to do this, but actually he's not going to stop doing it, and it's not so bad because he's still getting stuff done. He did sign 4 bills last week, and I think last time I checked, ISIS is almost gone. They're now on the ropes, and he promised that.
They got stripped of their varsity sweater.
That's the most important promise he made.
Good.
He's bad on the small things, great on the big things.
No, I beg to differ on that. He promised infrastructure, $1 trillion infrastructure package, nothing done on it. He promised tax reform. Nothing done on it. Repeal and replace, we're still waiting.
He promised to beat Hillary Clinton, and guess what? He did.
And he's done nothing else in his agenda.
If he does nothing else except beating Hillary, I think a lot of people will be happy.
That's enough for you, but the rest of us are looking for real achievements.
Think about the big things. He won Supreme Court Justice ISIS. The little things of tweeting. I can take the tweeting.
Regulation.
The United States Supreme Court agreed with the president and his executive authority that he had the constitutional right to be able to put the travel ban to make America safe and national security.
That took 7 months.
He's doing all this. The immigration numbers are far better than they've ever been in terms of people trying to come over into this country. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. He's eradicating MS-13. The job numbers are way better. The 401k employment numbers are better, but nobody wants to talk about this. And also manufacturing on the rise in America. No longer are we just importing, but we're actually making goods here and making a buck or two.
All right, we got to go.
The Trump talking points are out today, man.
No. You don't have to have talking points. Those are results. Okay, we got to move on. Coming up, we'll continue our analysis of President Trump's battle with the media, and we'll tell you who's winning. Stay with us.